Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. Like I said, it's a Sunday's edition. We want to take a look at the discussion segment. The sit-at-home order that is ravaging the Southeast, socio-economically and politically. Last week, Nnamdi Kanu wrote a letter to IPOB asking them to stop with a sit-at-home order. And this morning, on the page of the newspaper, you get to see IPOB confirming that they received the letter. But don't forget that IPOB is factionalized, so to speak. Then I have factions, one led by Pia and some others still loyal to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Do you think the letter will have any impact? Do you think that the letter written by Nnamdi Kanu is a wish of a dying man that would do anything within his power to hold on to life? What do you think will be the implication of the written letter to the proscribed IPOB? With me here in the studio, I have a legal practitioner, political affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Barrister Emmanuel Obakbalo. Barrister, welcome to TMI. I appreciate your coming.
It's a delight being here. Good morning, Wilson.
All right. And so very close to him is another legal practitioner, a public affairs commentator, and of course, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Barrister Justin Ore. Welcome to TMI.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your coming.
Thank you very much.
Okay. It's like a seesaw thing since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. Of course, these were made during the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, but none came to fruition. Some orders were given on his behalf, but they were not obeyed. And right now, an order also for him to receive treatment in any medical facility of his choice, as long as it's within the country, has been given. And Nnamdi Kanu wrote a letter to IPOB saying, look, this sit at home is not helping anyone. It's not helping his cause. For that reason, they should stop. Don't forget also, Ikpea right now, according to report, he is the leader of a faction of this same group, perpetrating the sit-at-home order. And here we have a letter counteracting or opposing that order being enforced by Ikpea, IPOB, and his men. It's like a word to speak. Barrister Emmanuel Obakbalo, I wanted to tee off this discussion. What do you feel about all this?
First and foremost, it is sad that we find ourselves in this kind of situation. What some people describe as quagmire. And just a few days ago, former President Olusegun Obasanjo in his speech said Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. And so many persons have made references with regards to the insecurity situation we find in our country today. And I'll also take us back to memory lane. There was this poem written by Christopher Okibu titled Hooray for Thunder. And in one of the lines, he said, hooray for thunder, for the time has come where situations can no longer be described. So if you find the situation we are today in Nigeria, it is sad to say, but the chloroquine bitter truth must be told, that it is sad that the situation we find ourselves today cannot be described. Yet, we have leaders who don't give a damn, who don't care about the situation. Permit me, because you find out that before now, before this situation get to the state it is just now, what has been the general situation in Nigeria? Not just peculiar to the southeast part of Nigeria. We've seen insecurity in every spheres of Nigeria. Yet we keep getting hopes, message of hope, message of peace, message of unity, message of togetherness from the political office holders. And if you look at it, with all they've told us, there is absolutely nothing to rely on. Now, with special regards to the letter written by Nnamdi Kanu as published by his lawyer, Ejimiafo, somebody I respect so much, you discover that in one of the lines of that letter, the man did say that this is not his aim to worsen life for the people of the Southeast. And I quite agree with him. But the recipient of the letter, or the person that the letter is addressed to, is now saying no. And the man called it a joke taken too far. Quote now. So you discover that we are really going to find a very terrible situation. To this extent, I want to say that the letter may not make much impact. But be that as it may, what about the Eastern governors?
We'll come to that. The governors, what are they really doing? But for now, let's zoom in more on the letter. Well, Barrister Justin, you heard him. He said the letter may not make much impact. But on the pages of the newspaper this morning, a faction, okay, well, I say IPOB right now, they confirmed the receipt of the letter. But like what you rightly said, the mayor said is a joke taken too far. Two contradictory reactions. What do you have to say about this?
Well, viewers at home, the situation in the southeast part of Nigeria is quite unfortunate, the truth be told. I always tell everybody, I think it's one of the paper's slogan, say, truth is that will heal. No, conscience is an open wound that will heal by truth. Nurtured by truth, yeah. So there's a lot of deception in this whole brouhaha, or this whole game. Ordinarily, the leader of IPOB, known to us, is Nnamdi Kanu. Until recently, when he was arrested from, I think, Kenya and incarcerated in Nigeria before this Ibia, forgotten his other name now,
Simon,
came up. And he's coming from Finland, dishing out instructions or directive or orders to people who are here. And they seems to like the seat at home. But you are not considering the economic effect or impact. You are not looking at the sociological impact. You are not looking at the international impact or investors' impact. So every Monday, if you love your life and your investment, sit at home. Because many of the persons that is being used to enforce this order or this directive, sorry with due respect to them, they are like touts or miscreants. And because they have little or nothing to live for, or maybe they
have nothing to lose.
They have nothing to lose. If you even kill them, they'll be happy that at least the people are this is wahala and trouble is gone. So, but they can destroy, they can maim, they can rain, and they can also bring down an investment that has taken time or years to build. So I find it quite funny that the original leader is now saying, no, this is not the way to go. He even wrote, but the man in Finland is saying, no, I won't take that. So who and who, that he will still continue to dish out order to them in the southeast. To me, I think the southeastern, and they have to wake up. They have to wake up and liaise with the federal government of Nigeria, and the federal government of Nigeria also have to liaise with the government of Finland to see how they can put a stop to it, possibly bringing that man out of that place, because you have everything to yourself in Finland. All you can think of, you have it to yourself in Finland. Now you are destroying and ruining other people's economy and life. Who does that? The people that who they think, who they think, the Southeastern, the people, you know, but think, where your brain? What is the benefit? Okay, since you've been doing this sit at, what have you achieved? Nothing.
All right. You get to see some disturbing videos on social media You see men on the black, touch of red, harassing persons, harassing drivers, harassing traders, harassing residents. What are you doing outside? Sit at home, causing havoc, causing mayhem. Like what you rightly mentioned, it's like these two factions are between two leaders, the devil and the deep blue sea. Now, in this situation right about, they find themselves. Who do you think they will turn towards? Because IPOB said, yes, this letter is genuine. Ikmea said, no, this is a letter, a joke, taken too far. Barrister Emmanuel.
Yes, if you look at the situation, that's why I said the situation is one that cannot be described just now. Because in your words, we are in between the devil and the deep blue sea. And where do we go from here? For me, I want to look at the genesis of this crisis. What caused it? And why is the situation like this in the southeast? Look, I don't want to see Simon Ekpa as the main problem, to my mind. I don't want to see him as a problem because the man is there in Finland, well secured, good atmosphere, good environment, well taken care of, probably also enjoying the benefit of social responsibilities in the environment he found himself. Then what about those whom the man dishes order to and they ensure that they execute the orders? How is their life? If life is to be better for the young minds who carry out all of his orders and instructions, do you think they will engage in this? So that is why I said that the Eastern governors has a lot on their mind, has a lot in their hands to do. If they make life better for the people, for the young minds in the eastern part of this country, I do not think they will engage in this. And also, if you look at, if you go the ladder up to the center, the youth generally in Nigeria are being tortured. Every day, the young minds go through one terrible situation or the other. Is it the welfare of the people you want to talk of? Is it the security of the people you want to talk of? Is it the good roads to ply on you want to talk of? Is it the educational situation? We are already having another situation just now about the tuition fee in federal universities and state universities. You see, all of this come together. There is a catastrophe waiting to burst. But our leaders have not been able to use the third eye to look at this situation and now provide solutions. Instead, they come with a lot of grammatical construction to begin to dish out to tell the people. I tell the people a lot of promises, renewed hope, change, next level. We don't need all of that grammar. Because if you go to the other side of the world, or you go to other parts of the world rather, they don't tell them next level. They don't tell them change. They don't tell them renewed hope. They don't tell them MOU preparation. They don't hear all of those grammar. But yet, life is being made meaningful to them. So our leaders need to sit up and sit tight to ensure that this life becomes better. Today, an average Nigerian, to him or her, life is meaningless. But the good quality we have is that our attribute, we are not good at committing suicide. If not Wilson, I tell you, you must have seen many dead bodies on the road just now. Out of what? Suicide. People will not go and commit suicide. But because it is not our culture. It is not something that we embrace. It is not something that we practice. That is why you see people still say, whatever the situation is, let us succeed. In this kind of country where people are suffering, hardship cannot be described in Nigeria. And yet, some person sits somewhere in Abuja and they were collecting allocation for hardship. They were collecting monies for hardship. Why the people are the ones suffering for the hardship? So all of this is a reaction. What reaction? Yes, you see in the Southeast, it's a reaction to a situation they find themselves in.
All right.
It's not Simon Ekpa.
All right. Simon Ekpa is there right now, dishing out orders. Nnamdi Kanu is in prison. He wrote a letter which has been acknowledged. In your own analysis, from your own angle, if you want to take a look at it with your microscope, who do you think IPOB will listen to right now?
Well,
is it Ikmea or Nnamdi Kanu?
Well, I think the reason profiled by Mr. Simon Ikmea, or Ikmea on his name, is is that he is skeptical that that letter did not emanate from Nnamdi Kanu. That's he has that doubt. Yes. But the truth be told, like my friend said, there is what we call sociological problem or social problem already that is Simon is feasting on. Yeah, that is there is this untrained, unlearned. When I use the word unlearned now, on people who are not educated, they don't have any form of formal education, no informal education, no training or skill or vocation whatsoever. They just grow up like street children. You see them around. These are fertile ground for this menace, this social problem to generate and grow. So if they don't nip it in the bud now, remember that's how Boko Haram started. That has now become a cancer that Nigeria is battling with here and there till tomorrow. And in addition to that, there is also a political undertone. Some of these persons are beneficiary of that instability that is going on in the Southeast. So in a nutshell, I think they should respect Nnamdi Kanu, who seems or who has taken this agitation for a creation for them to go. That's their major agitation. They want a world of their own, Biafra Republic. So since you are not letting them go, and Nnamdi Kanu is the originator or the arrowhead, then you should listen to your let me use the word boss. You should listen to him. He is in prison. It's because of this cause he's in prison. He said, no, we are destroying ourselves. And that's the truth. Which reasonable investor or foreign investor want to go to Southeast to invest? The other day, some American officials were kidnapped or robbed or something like that. And later they said, oh, they released them. That alone, do you know the signal it sends to the world? If you go to your American website now, they will tell you some places you cannot go to in Nigeria. If at all you are coming to Nigeria, there are some key areas you must not go. Just go to their site, you see there. Because of things like this that is happening. And who suffers? The average or the ordinary Nigerians. Because there's no average Nigeria anymore.
There's no average Nigerian anymore.
There's no average Nigerian. It's either you are ordinary or you are the super ordinary or the super one. That is just the middle class is not there. So they should
you have the rich and the poor.
Yes. So you should listen to Nnamdi Kanu and adhere to that letter. Whatever be that, at least give peace a chance. And on the side of the government, the court has said, let this man go. What are you holding him for? I don't see any reason. See, the court says this is the way to go. What else do you want to see? It's the court that says let him go. If you have anything against him, then bring it before the court.
All right. In this situation, it's like a particular group that seems supposed to be the father of them all, or Haneze Ndibo. It's like their hands are tied in this matter. Do you think them weighing down on their children vis-a-vis part of that children who take it or leave it is the IPOB, joining hands with the letter from Nnamdi Kanu, do you see them being able to convince these lads that are there destroying, scattering, causing mayhem in the Southeast to shift the sword?
Who are members? First of all, we want to ask a germane question. Who are members of the Ohanese? From the President General, the person of Mr. Emmanuel Nwanyawu. Is it not the same political class? It's still the bourgeois. The assemblage of the bourgeois. That is what constitutes the Ohanese Ndigbo. And if you watch the battle on the ground just now, is more or less the battle between the rich and the poor.
The rich and the poor?
Yes, I must be sincere with you. And that is why any little spark, you see the young minds will just take it hook, line, and sinker. Any little order, instruction, they take it. Because they have a fertile mind for this kind of situation. Frightened mind to the extent that somebody who has looked at himself and said, life cannot be better for me because my leaders have hijacked everything. So it just remained there for them to snuff the life out of me. And as such, if I see somebody who can give me a little piece of bread, maybe a slice of bread to eat, and the person gives dishes and instruction, I would obey that instruction to the latter. Let me tell you, some of us have some experience. In another part of Nigeria, while I was growing up, there's this group they call the Almanjiris. They are the ones who they use for crisis. Just give them a meal and give an instruction. They will carry it out to the latter. And that's what we have seen in the eastern part of Nigeria just now. Because the political class have hijacked everything, what remains for the poor, the downtrodden, is whatever we see, we take. And that is why you see today, Nigeria seems not to be secured, because the young minds ought to be the ones to secure the nation. But there is this dichotomy between the elderly and the youth. So the elderly are up the ladder there and the youth are down. And let me tell you, all of these problems started from the home. The parents we have today, how do they nurture their children? How do they train their children? Then it metamorphosed to the church. Then from there to the society. And that is why what we see today, nobody seems to be in charge. Because the elderly, with all due respect to them, have failed in training the young minds. So, Ohaneze Indigbo does not have anything to say just now. In fact, if they speak, the young man will go and meet them and say, why did you say so? What did you do to better my life? By the time a young man begins to ask an elder, what did you do to better my life? You know that there is trouble already. So, until things begin to turn for the better, we will sink deep into this quagmire. I just pray and hope that somewhere along the line, things will turn around for good. But then, those who occupy political offices should know that if they like, let them be budgeting 70 billion, 100 billion, 200 billion to buy bulletproof cars. The day you leave office, you have questions to answer from the people down the ladder. So, until we begin to see ourselves as one united nation, until the people in holding political office begin to say, we are there to serve, let us serve the people. Wilson, I tell you, things will go worse. And that's why I did say from the outset that what caused this crisis, we are not really addressing the cause of the crisis. Instead, we just go to the top and begin to discuss issues. What caused it? The other time, we heard when somebody was campaigning to be the governor of Anambra State, he said, I will turn Anambra State the Dubai of Nigeria. What have we seen today in Anambra State since he became the governor? You see a lot of promises. Today, somebody told us, oh, subsidy gone. The subsidy has indeed gone. But does that stop the increase in pump price of PMS? The answer is a no. And poverty, hardship is biting harder on the people. And you say the people should not survive? That is why the likes of Samuel Ekpa can take advantage and say, oh, these people are your enemies, just do this, do that. And you see they will take that instruction and carry it out to the latter. So, we need to sit down and begin to tell ourselves nothing but the truth. I don't think any person will put Nigeria in a better state than Nigerians. I do not think that. Forget the advice you hear from international communities. They do it for their benefit. So, Nigerians should see that the Easterners, I'm using this platform to appeal to the political leaders in the eastern part of Nigeria, that they need to sit tight and ensure that the promises they gave to the people, they bring it to the table. Let the people see it. Let the people feel it. So that by the time they see and feel it, the likes of Samuel Ekpa cannot take advantage and begin to dish out instructions the way he like. In fact, he will not see who to dish out that instruction to. They will tell him, shut up. But here we are. Things are no longer the way we used to think. Some of us, while we were growing up, we say, I will be this for Nigeria, I will do this for Nigeria, but even the privilege will not be given to you because the elderly have hijacked it. Without due respect to them. And when they hijack it, the situation we find ourselves today is 3-point agenda among the political class. Me, myself, and I, me, my wife, and children.
Okay.
And I pray God help us.
God indeed is going to help us. He is definitely going to help us. Now, he wants to raise a part of the governors. And let us conclude the discussion right now. This southeastern region of Nigeria, they have governors. They are given money for security votes. Still, it's like this banded IPOB members have been able to bend the will of the governors that the people tend to listen to them rather than listen to the governors. Now, with this letter, do you think there'll be a change in the mentality of these people? Will they give the governors more power to say, look, your leader have said this, please forget about the seat at home?
Well, the governors have their own power that is provided for by the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, 1999 as amended. They have their powers, and they are in charge of the security of the states. You know, after the federal government, you have the state government, and they have what we call security vote. Like my friend have just said. All this, let me use the word kata is springing up or it came up because of failure of governance. That is simplicity. The schools, just take a look. Before we go to the east, there's a charity begins at home. Take a look at public schools in Edo State. Primary, secondary, tertiary. What is the minimum wage? Fuel subsidy just taken away, just by those 3 ways, subsidy is gone. Within 2 months, the fuel price has increased astronomically twice. What are the palliative or the measure put in place to cushion the effect of these things? Nothing. Yet, with all this, you are saying the people should be patient, they should endure, they should bear, but they are seeing you display so much wealth, affluence. You that is saying we should tighten our belt. Where is your own belt so losing? You see the avalanche. There was a video that came up on one of the TV news recently. For about 30 minutes when the president's convoy is passing, they stand as still because it has not moved into Asoro. It goes from Asokoro, his house in Asokoro, to Asoro, to office. So for the period he's going to pass, that 30, do you know the line? The kind of cars that will pass? The length? Fine, it's your right. But at this time, we should be seeing that they say, like, charity begins at home. If there is rot on the head, the whole body will fail. Or if water gets polluted from the source, the people in the community will die of thirst. You say we should tighten our belt, but your own is losing. You are still displaying affluence. Why don't you cut down the size of governors? Why? Okay, recently you say you were borrowing about 500 billion, about 50 billion, something like that, was already being budgeted for bulletproof cars. What do you need them for? For how many members? Less than 500 people. To spend about 40 billion on cars. On cars, bro. Bulletproof cars. Why don't you go to Nnamdi? We need cars. Give us cars. It must be bulletproof. If you are not totally disconnected from the people, then why use bulletproof? Look at France president now.
I say this is the root cause of the problem.
Yes. Who know one better thing? Tell me, who know one better thing? I don't want to say, don't you want a, yes, now, don't you want a better life? You see, somebody is using your resources and using it well. He's telling you, hold on, go better. You are using a 2023, 2004 car, living in one of the best hotel or houses. You don't see potholes. When you go to Abuja, when you see roads, you will marvel. You think, when I traveled through Abuja to Jos in 2001, when we saw street lights, everybody inside the luxurious bus shouted, wow! I'm telling the truth. Then you will not tell me that the one that is not sure of his next meal, no school, no training, no food, nothing. Then somebody is saying, take, it should not go. Come on now, let us.
Thank you so much, Barrister. Barrister Ibarra, you're going to have the last line of the discussion because we have other guests that want to share their thoughts and opinion on another topic of discussion. What advice do you have for these youths that are so annoyed, willing to follow the path of mayhem rather than following the path of good governance in the Southeast?
Please, we see, turn the question the other way. What advice do I have for the political class? It's not for the youth. The youth don't deserve any question now. The youth are only waiting for answers from the political class. Wow. My advice to the political class is that they should know that there's an obligation they hold the people of Nigeria. They swore to the Constitution of Nigeria to secure Nigeria, to make life better for the people of Nigeria. And please, they should do just that. And if they do it, Nigeria will be better again.
Well, the letter has been written. Let's see if these youths will listen to Nnamdi Kanu or Simon Ekpa, as the case may be. So additional instructions from Finland. But according to my analysis, it's because of the situation the youths over there find themselves. That is the reason why they choose to follow the path of destruction and mayhem. If the government of the day is able to do the right thing, put things in motion, nobody will have time to listen to it there. If they have food on their table, do you think they'll start going up on them? If they have jobs to do, do you think they'll start carrying weapons to start fighting? If there is no poverty in the land, do you think they'll want to hear from one Mazi or from one Ikpia from Finland? Everybody want to do their job. I know that the southeastern citizens of Nigeria, they are hard working. But are things working out the way it ought to work out? Only time definitely will tell. Let's see who these youths will listen to. Nnamdi Kanu or Simon Ekpa. The die to say is cast. Hope he's going to favor Nigeria as a country. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your wonderful analysis. Appreciate them.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.